Davis police are releasing new details about 3 different stabbings within a week. Investigators are holding a live news conference right now talking about the incidents. Now, the latest happening overnight, sending the city into a lockdown. Let's listen in.
Davis police officers responded to a welfare check regarding an unresponsive male at Central Park, which is located just outside of downtown Davis. Police, fire, and medical personnel arrived and located a deceased male in the park. He was slouched over on one of the park benches where it appears that he kind of normally sits and or sleeps at night. The preliminary investigation revealed that he had suffered very significant stab wounds and that he was a victim of a very violent attack. On April 28th, the Yolo County coroner identified that victim as a 50-year-old David Henry Bro, who has been in the community for over a decade and, while homeless, was a regular fixture in the downtown in a very positive manner. And the other night we had a vigil for him, and many community members spoke about his positive and lasting impact on the community. 2 nights later, April 29th, at approximately 9:14, a Davis resident reported hearing what sounded like a disturbance near his house, and the disturbance was located in Sycamore Park, which is in central West Davis. The resident went outside to investigate and found a male adult with what appeared to be multiple stab wounds. He immediately called 911, had a short interaction with the suspect, who fled. Police officers and fire department personnel responded, and the victim was declared deceased at that time. The next day, the coroner identified the victim of that homicide as Davis resident, 20-year-old Kareem Abu Ajim, and he was a local resident, a Davis High School graduate, and a UCD student. Last night, on May 1st, at approximately 11:46, the department received a few 911 calls. The first one came in reporting a disturbance at a tent, which was located at the intersection of or near 2nd and L Street. And there's several tents there from the local unhoused. They've been living there for some time. The initial report was that somebody had been punched through the tent, and then soon after that was followed up with a second 911 call from the actual victim. She had her call had gone to 911 for CHP because the location being near the freeway, and CHP transferred the call to Davis PD. She reported that she had been stabbed. Right around that time, Davis police officers, who were actually fairly close, responded and located her and determined that she had been stabbed several times. She was treated and then transported to the UCD Med Center. The latest information that I have is that she did have several stab wounds, had surgery, and is currently in the ICU in critical but stable condition. We were able to get a statement from her. She was able to provide a description of the assailant, and she was able to tell us what happened. And that one, it appears that she was inside of her tent, and the suspect came up and stabbed her through the sidewall of the tent. After the incident last night, we did set up a perimeter, and officers responded. We were able to call in officers from the West Sacramento Police Department, the Yolo County Sheriff's Department, the Woodland Police Department. A K-9 unit also responded, and we had drone teams respond as well. Soon after, we requested additional assistance from the Sacramento Police Department, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department, and Elk Grove Police Department. We did end up getting another K-9 from Sacramento Sheriff's Department, and so we split up the perimeter, did a very extensive search, including house-to-house searches for the entire neighborhood near where the attack occurred, and we were unable to locate the suspect. We did have a witness who said that the suspect fled on foot westbound on 3rd Street, and that was the last sighting of him. The description that was provided for the stabbing last night is substantially similar to the description that was provided by the witness in the second homicide. At this point, we're still determining whether the two are related, but there is a similar in that they both were knife attacks, and the descriptions were reasonably close. Although there's consistency in some respects with the first incident, we're still trying to determine whether the first homicide is related to the second homicide and whether these are related to the stabbing for last night. The similarities of the two homicides are that both involved male victims. They occurred at Davis Parks. The attacks with knives were particularly brutal and violent. These were not stabbings where a person would normally be a victim of like a robbery or something like that where there's just a couple of wounds. There were many and very significant knife wounds. The attack last night had far fewer knife wounds, but still similar in the respect of the description provided. At this point, we're going through hundreds of tips. Since we put out the information on Thursday, there's been no shortage of people calling in potential information. We've been contacting many residents and asking for any information or for any tips regarding that homicide. When the second homicide occurred, because we had a description, we started receiving far more tips. You know, people reporting people who matched the description of the assailant. And since the third incident, already this morning, we're receiving a significant number of tips as well. We've asked residents to provide any video that they may have, whether Ring or other type of video of anybody matching the description. Because of the number of tips that have come in, it's been a challenge to get to everybody timely, but we do have teams of detectives that are working through and trying to get all of those tips collected and somebody to respond to them. On the investigative side, we have the resources of all of the Yolo County law enforcement agencies. I've been in communication with the Yolo County Sheriff and the police chiefs for each of the jurisdictions. All of them have been providing support since the first homicide, both in terms of initial response and ongoing response. I also have commitment that they'll continue to provide extra patrols in Davis and assist us with the investigation. Additionally, we've been working with the FBI on helping us with evidence, and they're in town today, and well, we've been using them to help us with evidence for a couple of days now, but they're in town today to help with the investigation and also helping us
Right now, we are getting an update from Davis police about the incidents happening in Davis, where there have been 3 stabbings within a week, 2 of those deadly. They say the first incident happened on Thursday. That victim, a 50-year-old named David, he was stabbed. And then on Saturday, a 20-year-old UC Davis student named Kareem was deadly stabbed there and dying from those injuries. Now, the third incident happened just after midnight this morning. A woman, unhoused woman, in her tent, and we're told by police that she was stabbed through the side wall of that tent. Now, the police officer you just heard there said those incidents were both brutal and violent. Now, they are not connecting all 3 of them, but they are looking closely at these incidents. They do have the FBI working with them as well. Now, we're going to continue to monitor what's going on with that. We do know that the suspect still on the loose right now. The description very vague right now. They were dressed in black with black Adidas. That's pretty much all we know about that, but they do have the FBI working with Davis Police Department to try to find out who's responsible or whom is responsible for these 3 attacks, stabbing attacks in Davis, 2 of them deadly. We will continue to monitor that and bring you those updates on our later newscasts as well as online.